I enjoyed, I mean, I loved the living room for anybody that is listening. If you knew the network before, as the living room, now we change it to the Enlighten Network. And so
Mhm.
I loved the living room. Like I feel like it served its purpose. It brought everyone together, us collaborators in a certain way. And then as things developed, it became apparent that in order to reach the web of people that we want to reach, that it needed a more streamlined name. And I mentioned to you all here, Nicole, Shauna, Crystal, that I talked to Josh, who's also a collaborator, my husband, and he's being masculine, right? Like just more streamlined. We brainstormed, well, and Shauna, you were in the brainstorm,
Mhm.
and then when he said that, the Enlightened Network, I was like, yeah, like it was just kind of like that makes it just feels like it could hit anyone that it could possibly hit, connect with anybody that it could possibly connect with those words uh easily, like an easy connection. And then even changing the images inside of the network, the colors, and you had mentioned the other day, and hopefully you talk more about that, Shauna, even with the purple and the gold, just what it represents is like that, like that it is very valuable and meaningful and rich, and it brings a certain vibe with it, a certain energy, just the
Absolutely, it
color.
does.
Yeah, and the name. So anyway, that's where I'm
Yeah,
at.
to me, it's a beautiful change. I feel like the name is more expansive. It just it like envelops, and there's what I feel right now very little to have to explain about it because it is a place, an online platform, a virtual community, a network of like-hearted people that are coming together because they want to enlighten their lives in many different ways. And I think it was just a really, really prominent change that I think it was waiting to happen. And so when you texted me that day and said, hey, I'm thinking about changing it, I was like, oh, I was so happy to hear that. Um, and as far as the colors go, so purple, I think of the crown chakra. Gold, I think of, well, first of all, I think of value when I see gold, but I also feel like, well, I don't feel like I resonate with the beautiful golden white light of our spirit, of our being, right? Our essence. So to me, those colors, as soon as I saw them, I thought, this is perfect, just the way it is. So thank you for getting that intuitive hit. I guess that's what I want to say, that intuition that this needs to shift a little bit. This needs to change because I think it's perfect.
Same, same. It brings ease. There's yeah, it's just so simple. And it doesn't need an explanation. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it. Um, because people don't want to, yeah, no, it's just the simpleness of it all is my favorite part.
I assume we're talking,
Simple
are
and
we
profound.
talking about the new name? Sorry, I stepped in a
Yes.
minute late.
That's okay.
Um, I love it too. I will share that one of our members this morning in class asked me if this was in addition to the living room, like was it a whole other thing? And I shared no, that it's a name change to more accurately describe who we are and what we're doing. And she said,
And
okay, I found it confusing at first, but that helps clear it up a lot. So I just
yeah,
wanted to share that.
to be expected. And then there'll be an email, with this video that
Yeah.
that kind of explains it, right?
Yeah. And I said that, watch, we'll get into it more. In fact, when I was
Exactly.
at the studio, the little whiteboard that Jamie keeps, it says, hey, check out our app. the living room. So I changed it to the Enlighten Network.
Ooh, yep. It probably still needs to be changed in a few places because
Yeah,
it's a lot of different places.
it's gonna crop. Yeah, it's gonna crop up or pop up unexpectedly.
Yep.
I feel like it's more inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. That more souls will resonate with it. We'll find it. We'll find us.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was a top-notch move. I think it was a great choice to change the name.
Was. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Crystal's reaction. We got to hang out last Saturday and I was like, so I'm gonna tell you something. And like just everything about you when I said it, you were like, I mean, you said you felt like it would be even easier for you to create in the room, your room.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea of the living room, and I still love that we have that space, right? And we've created that space, and that doesn't go anywhere. So now we can bring
Well, and
that
you even
into,
said it. You said the
right? We
Enlightened
have,
in the living room or in the living room of the
yeah.
Enlightened Network, right?
But to have to explain what it is, there was something that I mean, I grasped it, but to have to explain it, there was a dis-ease with that, and to not, so something just so easy and so simple, and Shauna, yeah, that's what's going to resonate with people, right? The ease of it, like, oh, yeah, and then the group of women and man.
Well, when we were up in Maine 2 weekends ago, and Josh used the word enlighten. At first, it was like, yeah, that's kind of a buzzword, and a lot of people use it, and I just kind of let it go. And then when we were storming, what we called it, storming, we were coming. At least I was. I could look back right in here in my journal to all these things I had written, but it wasn't right. It wasn't right, and we were going back and forth. Let's keep storming. And then when you texted me and said the Enlighten Network, it was like, boop,
Yeah.
there it is, right there.
Yeah.
And
there was that word again.
Sorry.
That's okay.
The living room means something different to all of us too, right? At least I felt like we had a different vibe and feel about the living room and how we explained it. That was my interpretation. Sorry, this big dragonfly is going to dive bomb me. And I think the Enlighten Network, there's, it's really very clear. And I've always believed that businesses' names should be able to tell what the business is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Love it.
You said that on Tuesday and I loved that too.
Yep.
That. Yep. It is
Even
true.
when I had my yoga studio, Self Awakening Yoga Studio. So it really describes what we were trying to do there.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think sometimes it can be overthunk, right? So we just keep like playing around with words, and then it's like, so to just simplify it like this, it feels so good in my heart.
And look how many discussions we had around the words, right? That we just couldn't even agree.
Are you kidding me? They were like, that's so hot. We're like explaining ourselves and the living room, and not like just minutes long. So I
was so overwhelmed by that.
I know.
What does
we couldn't even agree with each other what words to use, right? We couldn't even agree with each other.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. No, that's not inclusive. It's too inclusive. It's, so it's good. It's good that you shifted away from that, and the new name is really brilliant. In fact, we'll have a new class called that.
That's right.
Right? On Mondays, we got to change that schedule as we get closer to Monday. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you want me to do it for you, or do you want to do it?
I'll jump on there.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the reminder, though. Thank you.
Yeah, well, because I just was checking the schedule, and I was like, oh, right, I'm teaching on Monday. And then I saw it's still Eric Halaby's shamanic, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Great name. And I didn't get a chance to say, I love the logo too. I love the image. It just says it.
I feel like too, well, I want to hear from Nicole, but then I feel like this is a perfect space to tell the story of the image.
Okay.
So, Nicole.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. I think that for me, as I think of that more idea of being more global, Shauna hit it on the head. Like it just will resonate with so many people with the ease of just being able to get into it and look. And what I love is that my daughter, who's in Colorado, all of her friends who are all over the place, like that are following us, they're like, well, what is the living room? So she's like, I have to explain it and I'm not even part of it. Like, what's your mom doing? And, so, and that's that 20 to 30s age group. So I'm hoping that this is going to be like, oh, as I keep saying to them, you need to check out Barbara. You need to check out Shauna. Like, these are the girls that I just know will really shine utilizing those 2 rooms just on their own to start. I'm like, you guys want to get in there and take a look and start reading. And so I think the name change is perfect. It will, just evolve with the age groups that we're looking at, that it doesn't have to be just our age group and older. It really can go to those 20s and 30s who I think need this so much more than, they realize. So I think, so I'm excited for the change. I think it's going to make a lot easier to discuss what we're actually all about. So all for it.
Well, they're the future teachers, right? So if they connect with this and resonate with this, then who knows where it could take them,
Exactly.
Yeah. So the image in the logo, oh, what was the exact moment? It was like we were having a moment in Maine. So
I can remind you.
For those of you listening, what is Maine? Maine is where there's land in Maine that my husband and I own and we're developing called Joy Karuna, which is our nonprofit. We're developing a retreat center there that will eventually also be incorporated into the Enlighten Network retreats in the future, etc. So you'll be able to learn more about that. But go ahead, Shauna.
I'm going to be helicoptered in the next time. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. What was I going to say? Okay, so let me just back up just a little bit because I feel like this actually has some weight in this conversation. But Jennifer and I talked, I don't know, 3 months ago, and you were a little unsure about what was going forward with the living room, i.e. now the Enlighten Network. And I brought up someone that most people are not really crazy about, and that would be Elon Musk. And I sat with you and I said, I look at Elon Musk and everything he's done with SpaceX and how he has blown up him and his group, blown up rocket after rocket after rocket after rocket, millions and millions of dollars just for trial and error. And that one day that I saw that, I know it's not the rocket, it's the other part of the rocket, come back down to Earth and get locked into that stand, I thought, holy shit, he did it. Like, that is incredible that after all that trial and error, he figured it out. Him and his team figured it out. So I shared that with Jennifer. So we were up in Maine and she was staring at the trees. Her back was to me and she was just looking at nature. I just got goosebumps. Woo! And I asked her, what are the trees whispering to you, Jennifer? And you proceeded to turn around and you started to sit with me and tell me about Mark Zuckerberg. Do you want to take it from there?
No, I want to hear you tell the story.
So we did a lot of discussing it still wasn't the Enlighten Network at that point, but just trying to get that vision of how we're going to move it forward. So Jennifer started telling me, she's sitting there and she's like, let's think about Mark Zuckerberg. You talked about Elon Musk. Let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg for a moment, who sat in his garage with his friends and they created Facebook. And now look at where Facebook is. And that's when I looked up and I saw
Whether you like it or not, right? We're just talking
right.
about
Yes,
evolution.
we're right. We're talking about minds coming together and creating something. So one of the things that I noticed when I was up in Maine were the lack of raptors, big birds. And I kept saying, where are the birds? Like, this is really unusual. So as Jennifer was saying that, I looked up and there was a bald eagle heading our way. And the both of us jumped up. We got Josh's attention, and it was literally right there.
And
just
like the
as she was
pinnacle
talking.
of the conversation of
Oh,
the Enlighten Network before it had that name being this global connection. And yeah, it was a moment of like validation.
wow. Yeah.
That is
Huge
so
validation.
cool.
It was
So
really
cool.
cool. So when
So
I was designing,
I was actually surprised when I saw the image, and when you sent it to me the first time, I was like, yes.
yeah. Well, and I was like, when I was designing the logo, you know, I was looking through different imagery, and of course I typed in eagle. I was like, oh, we don't want, you know, an eagle.
America.
And I don't remember the combination of words that I used to conjure, to manifest the image that I found. But when I saw it, I was like, that's perfect. It's such a perfect symbol of that, but also of, I don't know, it just reminds me of like spirituality and expansiveness, and obviously an eagle, like, you know, it reminds me of that beautiful free bird flying in the sky. And I was like, oh yeah, man, this is, if this isn't it, I don't know what is. So it was just perfect for that.
I see it as every spirit here on earth, like that's also how I see it, our own individual spirits taking flight,
Yeah,
being free and expansive.
I love that.
Expansive. That's a good word to describe that picture.
Yeah,
That whole, all of that. But yeah,
right. It almost like pulls you in and then expands you out. Right. It's like a portal.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. As I look over at Maharaji and City Mom. It is. There was something else that I wanted to say about that, and now it's escaped. Oh, well, I also mentioned, I don't know if anybody has stared at it quite as long as I have, but if you look hard enough, we want to bring in a little, I mean, maybe it's not even humorous. Maybe it's just an excitement. But if you look at it, it does look like a person doing a handstand with their legs out wide, radiating in all directions.
I'm gonna have to look at that again.
Well, now I can't
Yeah.
wait to get back to my computer and see it big and check that out.
Exactly. Which I was like, is this gonna ruin it for me? Or if I tell anybody else about this? But
You know, I think it's funny because I didn't actually, when I think of like an eagle, and this is me, and just like that, I didn't even go with the whole idea of like enlightenment and all of that. Like I was thinking, like the eagle is like represents and like strength and wisdom and time, like all of those things to me, and power. So I was like, oh, that's beautiful, but it was none of your guys' words. Like,
yeah, but those are all wonderful.
right. So I just think it's funny how that's how in my head I was like, oh, like that's really great. That's a really, it's indicative of like who we all are in like collaborating together, and that wisdom of ages and all of that. So that's kind of where my brain went when I saw the picture. So I love that I was way off from everybody else.
I thought it was a phoenix at first.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Equally as
Well,
Because
cool.
the phoenix has the smaller,
Yes,
right,
angel
body
wings.
and the great big. Of course, they rise from the ashes.
Yeah.
So the
All of
meaning,
it.
maybe not so much, but that was when I first looked at it, my mind thought, that's a phoenix.
And I think that as people are exposed to it, they'll have different experiences with it that will draw them in,
Definitely.
be more curious.
Definitely.
yeah.
And then of course there was the card that I picked of the overarching whatever definition of this, and I love the spiritual warrior. Obviously I'm not going to get into the long meaning of that card, but basically the warrior for good that will go to the ends of the earth to bring their purpose to light, whatever that takes. And, that was also a strong feeling that I had being up on that mountain and then seeing the eagle and just the whole, I feel like that's what we are in as collaborators in here. Like we all have this really strong purpose, and how like that's pretty, I'm going to use the word magnificent. It's magnificent that
We are magnificent.
are coming together with our own individual purposes, but yeah, we're able to bring it together. It's like like a transformer, right? We're like all these
Yeah. I love Transformers.
individual vehicles, but yet we can all join together to create this big thing, that is a force for good. So all of it.
When I saw that eagle, that indicated to me that was a signal full speed ahead, fly, take flight, and make this happen. And I think the word I was looking for was fuselage, when the fuselage came back down to earth. That, to me, it was like, this is it. Here it is. I'm right here, telling you both, telling you all, go for it.
Yep.
Think big. Have that vision. Well, look at the vision of eagle, right? Soaring between heaven and earth. Their vision is amazing, and they're seeing things from a higher perspective.
And even the white,
So
right?
the fact,
white tail.
oh, the white,
energetic.
there was no question.
And that was the first bird, really. I mean, besides some really small birds that I have seen there, that was my third time spending time there. And I was like, all right, there you go. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Can we throw a saddle on you and we fly right into
That would be so cool.
Yes. All right. I don't know. How do you feel? You feel pretty complete?
I feel really damn good.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to jump on.
I'm glad you were too. And I also love that for some reason, like, our goal was in the beginning was to always have these conversations in the living room, our space, our actual physical space. And I can't wait to do that as well, but it also feels totally okay and great being on this, like in Zoom together like this.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, when we were the living room, being in the living room, it had more meaning to us, sitting in a living room and chatting. And we can still do that and collaborate, and it'll be beautiful. But yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
With our new direction and the new name, this is great too.
Yeah.
Because it still shows, right, that we can be together and yet separate. Right?
Exactly.
Big wingspan, but it envelops all of us. So, yeah.
Which is what basically we're going to be doing with all of our members all the time, because they're going to be from all over the place.
Right.
Yeah. And when Carrie and I did the women's circle, that was the first time ever doing that virtually. It's always been done in person, and it was more intimate than I would have ever imagined. Yeah, even in some ways more intimate than in person, to have everyone in their personal sacred, you were there, Crystal and Nicole.
Yeah.
The personal,
and it's helping me establish a new relationship from corporate to this, because this is what I do on the regular. So I've been kind of resistant, maybe. I don't know if that's even the right word, but there's been something there. And yeah, since that it's opened me up to it, and I'm finding ease with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Jennifer, I think just people being in their own space, in their own home, and grabbing their own things gives them a certain maybe freedom, comfort, and they may not be as open with a group of people in person.
Exactly.
And I'll also share, since I've started my mindfulness Zooms on Wednesday, I wasn't sure how that would be because I've been in, from February till May, I was in the studio every week. And the first 2 weeks I had 6 people in each, and this past Wednesday I had 2, it was still really good. There's still something, I'm sure Shauna can speak to that too, unless you regularly do Zoom before this, but it was pretty okay because people are just in their space being comfortable, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm wearing pajama bottoms
Yes.
Woohoo!
in my own space.
Just like at work.
I think I think a lot of people just burnt out from Zoom during COVID. So a lot of people just didn't want it. And I
Yeah.
love the idea of being back in person, but we have this tool here that can connect so many people anywhere in the world. Why wouldn't we use it?
Mhm.
Especially
think
when we
now
want to
it's
reach a global community.
Choice, right? There was a time where
Right,
like we had
right.
choice, and now it's a choice. So it that I think brings a different feeling to it as well.
When I was remote,
Definitely.
all of our presentations had to be via Zoom because we worked with independent private schools. And even after COVID, we stayed on Zoom because their attendance at education and open enrollment and other meetings was so much higher on Zoom than it ever was in person. So they never went back to in-person meetings.
Wow.
So I think too, this speaks to the same thing where we are going to reach a global community. There's no limit, no limit. So
And there was
exciting.
a cool thing that happened in the women's circle was one of the participants was she had just created this new space in her house, and she waited for the women's circle to kind of christen that space or be in it with that kind of energy. And that felt so special to be a part of and to witness her in the space creating, and just her whole entire energy. Like you could see it, right? You guys, like you remember what I'm talking about. You could experience it
Yeah.
virtually with her. And that was really neat. And that would not be something that would happen if we were live on Zoom. So, all right. I think that we're gonna wrap this one up, and thank you, you guys, you ladies, not guys, for being here and making the time, and we'll do it again.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Yes.
This was perfect. Perfect
Thanks.
amount of time.
And thanks for everybody tuning in, and we hope that you check out the Enlighten Network.
Gunnar
Check
says
us out.
hello.
Hi, Gunnar. You get to know Gunnar up close and personal if you join the Enlighten Network.
That's right.
I
He's a
love it.
pretty cool dog.